Good evening, I'm Jeff Lyons. This is the 14 First Alert Weather Show at 9 o'clock. I want to make sure my microphone is working. It looks like it is, so we will continue unless I hear otherwise. I'm assuming you're hearing me okay. We have a cold forecast here, at least to start out. Things are going to warm up, though, very soon. I will just double check here and make sure that I am getting audio. We've changed a couple things around here, and sometimes that can bollock. So, I hear myself. Okay, well, that's one of me is enough for anybody. All right, let's check out what we're tracking here. And of course, it's going to be bitter cold by November standards overnight. Now, typically, I reserve bitter cold for like 10 degrees and below. But in November, 22 is practically the record. We will warm up a bit tomorrow, 40s, upper 40s, and then we're right back to the 60s Wednesday, upper 60s Thursday, 70s on Friday, Saturday, and maybe Sunday, depending on how quickly the next system moves in. The picture here on the composite radar shows that snow coming through this morning. I can best describe it. It was just short of being a snow squall, because the visibility wasn't as bad, although it was pretty bad in spots. But we had just a belt, really, of heavy snowfall for November. Many of you had about a half an inch of snow, or maybe even a little bit more than that. Most spots had less. Right now we're at 28 degrees at dew point, a very cold and dry 19, and we will likely slip on down to about 22 overnight. The feels like temperatures already in that neighborhood. 23 is the feels like in Owensboro, 22 in Henderson. And our lows today dropped down to 27. Now, obviously, this will get revised at midnight because we are moving in on that 27 right now and may go below it here before midnight. And then 37 was the high today. How far off the normal is that? Well, first off, compared with yesterday, today was about 4 degrees cooler, at least this time of the day. Our low this morning was 11 degrees below the average and our normal, and we were 22 degrees off the normal high. Look at Bowling Green, 26. I think, well, we didn't have any 30s below, but anytime you're getting more than 20 degrees off the normal, something is pretty wild. And in our case, it just happened to be this blast of Arctic air. 37 for the high today then, and 3/100ths of an inch of liquid equivalent. So, you know, snow-wise, that'd be about 1/3 of an inch, give or take, at Evansville Regional Airport. For the month now, we are still dry, only about 1 inch and 17/100ths below. Of course, we had that big fat surplus for the year, and our average temperature, despite today's cold, was still hanging in there a little bit above normal. First snow climatology, and this is when we typically expect the first snow. The average is usually in that first week of December. And I should clarify, this is a 1-inch snowfall. Now, obviously we had less than that over most of the tri-state, but we're kind of lumping in today's kind of event with the data here. So the last time we had it this early in recent history was back in 2022. And in that case, you know, we had just less than 1 inch, kind of a crust out there. The earliest we've ever had snow, measurable snow, was October the 19th back in 1989. And in 2007, winter, at least the snow part of it, did not arrive until the 1st of February. Practically, why bother, right, if you're that far out? We still have a handful of winter alerts out there, primarily in the Appalachian Mountains and in the lee of Lake Michigan and Lake Erie and Lake Ontario, because we still have what we call a fetch, or uninterrupted supply of cold northwesterly wind coming across the relatively warmer waters here in the Great Lakes. And so you turn on that snow machine by doing that. For us, high pressure is going to come to the rescue twice. So the first one comes through and jacks the temperature back up into the 40s tomorrow. The second one then will pass nearly overhead and then have a good supply of warm, moist air coming in from the Gulf. And so we will have more clouds, but we will also have significantly more degrees, like up into the 60s there Wednesday, Thursday, and as we mentioned, 70s on Friday. No precip in the coming days. We will have variable cloudiness there along the way, and then clear out pretty well for Wednesday and Thursday. So that will make it a lot more pleasant out there, I think, for everybody involved. Over the next 7 days, the best days are to come here. Friday, Saturday, at those sunny and 72. And then we start to lose ground again as the next cold front arrives, with some rain there on Sunday, Monday. And that one might produce some thunderstorms, at least looking at the models, and I'll show that to you in a minute. So our feels like temperatures are still going to be in the cellar here, at least through tomorrow. By Wednesday, we kind of break out of the funk, and our feels like in the afternoon up to 59. And by Thursday, we're back to near normal. And Friday certainly too. All right, let's look farther down the line here. So we go through Friday unscathed here. We have a few clouds. And then Saturday, we are dry and warm. Southerly winds coming up there, and temperatures near 70. By Sunday night going into Monday morning, big low pressure out here over Kansas. And out ahead of it, we're looking at a low pressure or a cold front rather, wrapping around the low pressure. And there's a good potential here that we will have a tighter pressure gradient, stronger winds, and possibly some thunderstorms given the temperatures we're expecting. Severe weather, can't rule it out, of course, in November. No strong signal for that just yet, but that is a trend to watch with that big low, and it will then affect our weather from late Sunday through early Tuesday morning, before taking the rain onto the east. So I'm looking at 23 degrees tonight for the overnight low, and about 47 or so for the high tomorrow, with sunshine returning. And then the 7-day forecast has those wet days starting on Sunday, Monday, and some great warm weather over the weekend. Longer range, we're talking up through the 24th of November now, right there on the brink of Thanksgiving. Temperatures are going to be warmer than normal for that period, and rainfall at or slightly above average too. All right, we have a pet pick, and full disclosure, you might have noticed we made a graphics change here. All the fonts and banners, headlines, elements within the our graphics package here changed, and we've been scurrying behind the scene. You can't imagine how many graphics we have in our system. It's hundreds. And so Arden is taking the lead on the project to change them all. And of course, the rest of us are pitching in and helping. But even with that, things pop up, and we don't have the graphic we want when we need it. So we're having a little reprise here of Tesla, and that's just fine. You can't beat a happy dog and a train all in one picture. So thanks, William Raleigh, for that. Okay. And the reason was, well, I looked around actually for a new pet pick, and there weren't any on 14news.com in the Show Us Your Pets department. So throw some pet picks in there for me. Okay, comments. We got William Raleigh in there. 1/2 inch of snow. It didn't last long. Yeah, I can't tell whether it blew away or dried up or melted. It was kind of a combination of all those. Cheyenne Hammonds is on. Darlene Ezel from Madisonville, ready for spring. This is enough winter for you, right? Just a little, one day. Zach Seed says Evansville likely to get regular thunderstorms this weekend and next week, or for severe storms. Too early to say. Zach, last week we were looking at a system that we thought might bring some stronger thunderstorms, I think on Friday night and Saturday. Didn't materialize. It was showing pretty strong 5-6 days out, and then everything kind of morphed toward the weaker, so no bad storm. So the short answer is we don't know yet, but we will be watching for you. Lenny Howard is freezing. Okay, Paula Schaefer's on. Good evening, Paula. Yeah, that wind did make the cold feel even colder. Chris Smith likes the graphics. Okay, well, we got one thumbs up out there for the new graphic look. I always wonder, I've done this for 40 years almost, and I haven't done 40 graphics changes, but I've easily done 15, and or maybe even 20, depends on how you count it. And these things always happen it used to be kind of willy-nilly, like the weather graphics would change and then news, and so now to keep everything tidy, a date is announced and everything changes like a cutover basically, and none of the old graphics are to be used. And you'd be surprised at where they will sneak up on you, and you'll get an old logo or an old whatever. It's like hitting the wrong note on a piano. You know, you see it and you're like, oh, that shouldn't be there. So you may see a few of those this week. We'll think of them as like Easter eggs. You can point out all the stuff that I missed. But I've tried to be very particular about making sure everything lines up according to format. Science Corner, how many of your tire lights came on this morning when you went out there? Your tires aren't used to the cold just yet, and especially when you get this big drop in the temperature. And of course, you all here on the weather show, you know what's going on here. You have colder temps, the air molecules move closer together and move less. Therefore, they take up less volume, and your pressure drops in your car. Some of these cars today have very sensitive tolerances on those pressure sensors, like 1 pound, PSI. I've had a perpetual tire light in my car. I can't get the, you go out there and you put in 35 on all of them or whatever it calls for, and it's still just not good enough. So that or the sensors out. But anyway, another thing that can offset the cold sometimes is actually driving. The friction of the rubber on the pavement will heat up some of the air molecules in there. But the space, the extra space that is created by shrinking air molecules makes the pressure change. And I didn't realize this, but the tire pressure can change by about 1 psi per 10 degrees. So if you figure, when was it? Saturday, we were up to, was it 72, I think it was? And then, this morning we got up, it was 24. So that's it's 5-6 pounds of pressure if your car was parked outside. So no wonder the light is on. The light doesn't have it in for you, by the way. It's just trying to tell you that the tires are too low. And you can get your inflation numbers either online, or there's usually a little greasy sticker there on the inside of your door. Yeah, just a little help here in the weather department. Okay. I think we got everybody answered there, so I'm going to let you back to your evening and continue my graphics transitions or transposing. What am I trying to say? I'm having a hard time with my words today. I'm changing them, not really transforming them, but basically just making them compatible. So anyway, that's my problem, and I'll handle that. And I'll see you on 14 News at 10. And of course, Byron Douglas will be in here tomorrow morning at 8:30 on our stream, just after 14 News Sunrise, which starts at 4:30. So thanks as always for watching the 14 First Alert Weather Show at 9. Stay safe and have a good night.